Greetings and salutations, this is Rick. I do hope you're having a great day. In today's video we're off out and about again with the Vicar. So we're in a tiny little village called Broughton, Poggs, and it's a delightful little place in the Cotswolds, lots of little Cotswoldy houses everywhere. And we've come here to have a quick look at the church. The thing is, it's a bit occupied at the moment, and there's another church just round the corner that's also occupied, so we're probably not going to be able to get a lot of filming done. But there is another little village just up the road. I've just done a little check on the sat-nav and it's 3 minutes away, called Kencot, and it's got 2 churches there as well. So we're going to go and have a look at that, and then we're probably going to leave Broughton Poggs for another day. But I think it's rather delightful and good that there are all these little places like this so close together, so if one's not available we can always go to another. That odd little path down there, so there he is.
Hello.
We're going to hit the sat nav trying to get to this Kencot.
If you say so.
I think it's called Kencot, yes. I'll let you know on the radio anyway.
Righto.
So, right, and I'll see you there.
See you there.
Right, let's go. And I think I'm just going to point on the map, and we should be fine.
I'm testing.
Van man calling Vicar.
I prefer your grace, but Vicar will do fine.
Right, you are, your grace. So if I click on there we go. That's what we want. So select. Oh blast, that's annoying. Fastest route. When I set off, my service light came on and my ABS light has come on, which is really annoying. So Guinevere has just been sat there doing nothing for over a week, and it looks like I'm going to have to put her into the garage. Never mind. Right, ready when you are.
I just realised that I'd left the vent open, the roof, so having closed it, I'm now ready.
Okay, I'm setting off now. So I'll leave the camera running, you'll be able to get to see some of this delightful little village. We're not far from RAF Bry's Norton, which is just down the road. That's interesting, it's taking us to the left. I was expecting it to take us to the right. Ah no, signpost to Kencot is that way. This big village green. If you like to live in a little house like this, little Cotswold stone cottage. Just wait for Alex so he knows I've turned. Where has he got to? He was right behind me. There he is. Well, this is about as small as I want this road to get. 400 yards to our destination, so the church is going to be around here somewhere. We've just got to find somewhere to pull over. Oh, there's a church spire. Red telephone box, which is the village library. Like that. It's a beautiful old cottage here. And one church. Right. I think that's the entrance to a farm. Where can we pull over? So here we go. There's a little lay-by for the church. Perfect. So if I enough. Alex can fit in. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Darcy Dalton Way. Or the footpath to Little Clanfield. What's not to like? So we are at St Peter's and Paul's Church in Kencot, I think. So it's again another delightful little village in the Cotswolds. Very quiet, very little happening. Nice little pull in for the vehicles. We've got the airfield just down the road. Oh, is that cherry trees or plum? Is that plums or cherries? Or is it apples? Oh, it's a little crab apple tree. But here we are. This is the church. Weather's been great again. In fact, I'm even wearing my jacket today because it's just a little bit too warm. Don't know anything about this church, but a lot of the churches around these areas are all medieval, so the 12th and 13th century. Right. Not sure where Alex is, whether he's inside or not. There are swallows nesting in the porch and they are attracted to the light in the church. They fly in and have not the sense to get out and will always end up dead, which is very sad. That means the cleaners have to clear up the mess. And there we go again. There's that old church, old stone smell. Right then. Bells, pews. Now this one has the straight down bit and a left and a right wing. I think this is the first one we've been to that kind of goes both ways. I'm sure there's a more technical term for it, but some beautiful old stained glass over there. Big old organ. So why are there two chapels or two altars? Is this the Chantry Chapel, which this is on about?
Yeah, it could be.
This is possibly where the Knights Templar connection is, but there's no proof of it. So there's lots of memorials everywhere. Saxons, the conquest, the Normans and after. So there's a royal coat of arms there. It doesn't say anything about it. So there's a lot of very ornate memorials, and we get ourselves a really colourful stained glass. So this is the font for baptising people, usually babies. Really heavy old, this is an old hardwood
Would you like a hand there?
cover. That's really heavy, yeah, give us a hand.
Okay, so there should be some sort of... Oh,
Salad bowl. Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
Maybe it's a bit leaky, so they've had to put a little salad bowl in there to retain the water. Just look through there, there's very interesting looking old Cotswoldy buildings over there. I can't believe how quiet it is. Although we keep hearing big aircraft going over. Once again, an old yew tree, 2 of them, 3 of them. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Yew trees. What is it with yew trees and churchyards?
I think you say that every time.
I do.
There must be a reason for it then.
Yeah. Apart from the fact they live forever. So yeah, that is a really old Cotswold manor farm. I could just, you almost picture a farmer in a big old smock with a bit of straw. Yeah. I think this is just kind of pitters out into a nothing. What do you reckon that hole's for? It's like a hole.
Yes, I'm not sure.
Yeah. How bizarre. There's another one up there.
I'd like to be all educated and say, but I don't know.
You know that marking I found on the corner of that church when we were at Great Cotswold?
Oh yes.
Had lots of different suggestions
Okay.
as to what it was.
Right.
A lot of people said it was to do with the height above sea level. And others said about something about the mark of the stonemason. Yeah. So quite which one is accurate, I don't know. But apparently it's somebody suggested it's to do with, from that they can work out things.
Right, okay.
That's all I can remember. Oh, here we go. Another big. That sounds like a bit Herc-like. Couldn't even see what that was.
Trees. It's big.
There's beautiful cottage, thatched cottage here with the church in the backdrop. What's not to like? I think I just found my thumbnail. Comes another big plane. We've discovered the flight path is there. Well, that's a big fat thing, and those trees are going to be in the way again, aren't they? Yeah, exactly in the wrong place. Never mind. Right, so we're just going to take a little drive up the road. Now, we were debating whether to walk or drive, but on the map it actually looks a little bit further. So I'm going to go on ahead and check out the parking and let Alex know whether there's space. If there's space, it's great. If there's not, I'll come back here and, well, we'll know what's what. But we just spotted the name of a business up here saying something investigations. And we both had the same thought at the same time. Oh, Miss Marple. Just seems like the sort of place she'd live. Church is round here. Another little red telephone box that's actually got a phone in it. How novel. Yeah, come on down, Alex. There's a space. You'll fit in, and I'll slot in behind you.
Righto, coming now.
Assuming he can fit past me, it's a little tight. There he goes. Presumably he's in constant use, so. Oh, there's a car coming. Yeah, I should be able to fit in there just behind Alex, and that'll be fine. Him in a little bit, but that's space for everyone. Ooh, all good. Right then, let's go and have a look. I think I'll be all right there, won't I? So, one memorial. This is another war memorial, isn't it? So, best kept village war memorial, Oxfordshire, 1968.
And they're still writing home about it.
This is lovely. Oh, there we go. There's the church. Now, here we go. We've got ourselves a minotaur and a dragon. It's got to be a story about that. unless it's a sign for a pub. But this is just so idyllic. So quiet. Apart from all the pigeons and doves you can hear. So Alex is gonna go off and try not to make the same video as I'm making. So George the 6th, 12th of May 1937. The Archdeanery of Oxford, this plaque was presented to the winner of the Best Kept Village Churchyard in 1965. Now I may not know much about the history of these places or the specific stories that they may have and may hold. Where I can, I'll kind of look them up, maybe do bits of voiceover and things. But I think we've definitely hit onto something, just the idea of coming out to places like this absolutely idyllic little spots in the Cotswolds that we wouldn't have otherwise ever have even seen, let alone visited. But I think we're definitely onto something with these day trips, just coming out to these places. We're so lucky that they're on our doorstep, really, when you think about it. If you live in certain parts of the country, you don't have anything like this nearby. So we're quite blessed in that respect. More yew trees again. Huge, great yew trees. Lots of graves underneath. Another big, heavy aircraft coming in. We'll get to see it this time, I assume. I'm just curious to know what they are. There's a whole hodgepodge of different planes that have come over since we've been here. This sounds really low. Looks like it's coming straight overhead. Yes, there it is. Whoa. So we've literally got Bryce Norton runway just down there behind those houses. That's the only thing shattering the peace of this tiny little picturesque chocolate box little village. That's quite a contrast, really, when you think about it. I don't think Miss Marple would approve. So I'm intrigued now by that Minotaur and dragon. I'm going to have to do some research, some reading up. There might be some information in the church. The one thing we have realised or learned is when we come to these places, a lot of these churches do have little bits of paper printed out on the walls that explain, you know, why some things are the way they are. Although, to be honest, a lot of it is really, I wouldn't call it light reading. A lot of it goes so, just kind of digs down so in depth that it gets a little bit dry, I think is the right word. And sometimes it's difficult to pick out the information that you're trying to get without getting tied up in all of the, you know, who did what to who and all these different lists of names that it, you know, this was handed over to this person and that person. And to be honest, that's not really the stuff that I'm that interested in. Right, let's have a look. So this is St George's Church in Kencot, as opposed to the other one we went to, which was St Peter's and Paul's, I think. It's got a visitor's book. Alex has already written his name. Got the font. It's an odd place for a font. Right by the door. So you sort of, I don't know, dunk on your way out. Okay, the extensive reconstruction and redecoration work carried out in this church in 1962 was made possible by the generosity of Edith Bundy of San Francisco. That's interesting. So this is just prior to when they started winning all those awards for the best kept church and the best kept war memorial. So this must have been like a bustling little place of interest back in the late 60s.
Sit down, you sinner.
Sinners, all of you. So, there's the royal crest again, lining the unicorn. So these pews are quite modern by comparison to some of those Tudor ones that we saw in those other churches. There's the altar. So is this more highbrow because it's got the barrier?
In theory, yes. But don't forget, there's always just artistic license. I think I'm allowed.
Yeah. Alright, let's have a read. You can drive through the village of Kencot and not even notice the church. It stands by itself at the back of the green. With its sawn-off tower, it's hard to be seen. The porch is imposing, as carved in relief is the figure Sagittarius, half man, half beast. The pews of the pine and the old font of stone, the fine oak pulpit stands on its own. An old stone altar with crosses intact was unearthed from the floor some years back. The altar now used is a fine piece of work, a solid oak table inlaid in parts, with bunches of grapes and vine leaves entwined, and what shape... and we... Bloody aeroplanes! Whoa! That was really low, that last one.
Yes.
Just wait for the plane to do its thing. I get this when I do my voiceovers for the Honest Guys. You get a plane or like a tractor out, suddenly goes outside and starts cutting the grass, and or you got people like using power tools and things, so you have to do your voices between the power tool use, which is always fun. Okay, let's go where do we, right. The altar is special, well, special to me. It was lovingly made by my husband, you see. And that's a little poem by Isabella Fison. There we go. Alex getting his big camera out. He's going to use it for the first time in...
I don't know.
A long time. I'll tell you what, that sunshine is really, really warm. We're so hot in here. We've got the fan on, all the windows open, and it's still really, really quite warm. Well, there we've got a nice view out the window. There's the little church. So we're going to go back and do a little bit more filming. We've just uncovered a little bit of information about the church, so I can be a little bit more informative. So might be able to put a nice little voiceover together and a bit of B-roll. So we're going to go and do that now. Welcome to the Church of England Parish Church of St George, which is a Norman church. Features from this period include the south doorway, whose tympanum contains a relief of Sagittarius shooting a monster, and a former doorway in the north wall. The openings of the chancel windows are 13th century, and the ground stage of the bell tower was built in about 1300. The present chancel arch was built early in the 14th century. High in the south wall of the nave are two perpendicular Gothic windows, and the late perpendicular upper stages of the tower were completed in around 1500. St George's is a Grade II listed building. So we're just going to have a little walk down the middle of this tiny little road by the little church, because we can, and because so often I've driven past places like this, but I've never stopped to just get out and have a look around and soak in The peace and quiet of this place, it's unbelievable. I'd love to live in a place like this, I think. Although, maybe not so much with the aeroplanes, but haven't heard one for at least an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So they're obviously fly at certain times. But on a summer's day, look, this is so nice. Looks like an orangery. Is that an orangery or just a conservatory? That's very gothic looking. Gorgeous.
This was how we made telephone calls. We didn't have a mobile phone. It's quite echoey in here as well, actually.
So if you've ever wondered about the joys of British people making telephone calls before the days of mobile phones, switch over to Alex's channel. I'll leave a link below, and you can see his video, and hopefully we'll make the videos so they're different enough to be able to enjoy watching both. I hope that bird didn't just poop in my hair. But I have to say, this is really rather pleasant. Don't you think?
Is, yes.
We need to do this more. I say that every time, don't I?
And what do I always say? What do I always say? Well, we are.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. So we were discussing earlier if there are better ways to do what we're doing. If you've got any suggestions on how we can make this more interesting, because I mean it's great going to see these old churches, and hopefully we can get a little bit of background and information on them and sort of present those as well, but going to the churches is just more of a catalyst, almost an excuse to be able to do this and just get out. But if you've got anywhere that is perhaps like this in the Cotswold sort of area that you'd like us to visit, preferably non-touristy areas. Look, there's a Red Admiral. Oops, missed him. But preferably non-touristy areas, so don't all say like Bybury, because we went to Bybury before and it was just, you might as well have said London. It was that busy.
You wouldn't get Elvis in Bybury either, would you?
No, not really. But anywhere on the map that perhaps you know a story about somewhere that might be a story worth sharing and worth telling, then we're all ears, and might take you up on any suggestions that work for us.
Yeah.
Put that little caveat in there.
Yes.
But this is absolutely beautiful.
It is, isn't it? It's lovely.
So quiet.
Yeah.
So I thought this time I'm going to end this video. He's getting his own back. I dropped a little Easter egg on one of his videos earlier, but I thought this time round I'd actually do the sign off outside instead of like being stuck indoors where we've been sat for 2 hours drinking coffee. We weren't drinking coffee this time. It's way too warm. It's about 30 degrees today. But I thought I would do the sign off for today with a nice view behind me, that beautiful blue sky and that sunshine. What's not to like?
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It's been really good actually, once again. Yeah. Really good day, and really enjoyed making this video. Hopefully I can cobble something together that's, you know, a little bit interesting. But that is it for this video. So thank you, Alex, for hanging out with me again today.
Pleasure.
And putting up with my antics. But that is it for this video. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.